All right, look like it's gonna work. All right, everybody. I got two books I want to show you. One new, one old. I'll bring those out as we go along. And I have one gun I want to show you because I just got it back. I keep most of my expensive guns in a safe elsewhere because where I live now, I don't gotta say nothing. But I'll show you the gun now, and I'll show you the books later. All right. This is one of my current favorites right here. His name is Backbreaker for Arvius, not Arvius. We always trying to speak their language, but it's tough sometimes with these lips. For obvious reasons, this is one of my favorites. Smith & Wesson 500. It has some of the best sights on it. See, this thing is almost like a rifle sight. You got the back sight, but the front sight has two. I ain't pointing at myself. Can't point at Dr. Cosby. Point like that. Can you really see it? See it? See how it got two that you look through? Man, it's hard to miss with this big fella. And whatever you hit is just as good as dead. They back gonna be broke. So you always gotta have guns around. And yeah, it's just a masculine show, and guns are masculine. All right, now let's get to work. Let me make sure I got a pen so I can mark this stuff off as I go. My pen is inside my book. This book I got right here, every black man ought to order it, and woman, and because it's just so awesome. All right, now our topic today. I got a python, but that's not a python. I'm into revolvers now. My wife gave me 2 revolvers. Then I went and bought another one. I used to ain't have none. That's a sign of a good woman. If a woman buy you a gun, you might want to marry her. All right, here we go. One thing that I realized is that in this day and time and in this country, in this society, the good black men are getting their ass beat. What do I mean by that? No, ain't nobody really physically punching us in the face, most of us. But the good black men are catching hell. How did you realize it, Vern? Well, number one, I lived it myself. Number two, I've had countless and countless and countless good black men come to me and tell me the hell they catching. Who they catching the hell from, Big Vern? The police? The white supremacists? The Proud Boys? Like Kobe Bryant, the white women? Who they catching hell from? Their own goddamn women. And when I say goddamn, I'm not saying nothing about God. I'm saying G-O-T damn. Like my daddy, when he used to have a beer and start telling his stories, he said, I'd be goddamn. G-O-T damn. For emphasis. From their own women. Let me tell you a secret. And I'm going to say it now. And nobody has to agree with me, but you'll agree with me soon. And then if you don't, you'll find out. I never knew. Now, check me out. If you look back at my posts and my statements over the years, I have been 100% in support of the black woman. I went to the University of Iowa on a football scholarship, graduated from there, an honor student, and never interacted. Listen to awesome. I never slept with a non-black woman. I never was in a relationship with a non-black woman. My mama told me before I left Orlando, Florida, that you can't bring nothing back but a black woman. Okay, this is my history. I'm just giving you my history to let you know that what I'm saying now, you know, I want you to know where it's coming from. Okay. Now, the 3 most, what I consider holy, spiritual, God-like people in my life that I've ever known, I would have told you in days prior would have been my mom, my big sister Monica, Well, them was the two that I looked up to. And I've learned some things. Now, I never thought I would say that in our struggle for liberation, and that's why I have Dr. Khalid Muhammad right there, because the black man is supposed to be a revolutionary. The black man is supposed to be an Asafo. The black man is supposed to be seeking economic, political, social, cultural, historical, psychological, spiritual, every type of freedom, independence, and sovereignty that exists for our people. We're supposed to be on the front line. Whatever line that is. That could be on the streets, in the classroom, that could be in science, that could be in medicine, that could be wherever we are. It should be for our people. I never thought I would say that the number one enemy that the black man has today is his own goddamn woman. But I'm saying it. I'm saying, you got to listen to me now. And I'm talking about the good men, because that's the first thing people want to say when they try to, when they want to dissect what I'm saying. I'm not talking about no loser ass, clown ass black male, because I wouldn't give them the title black man, and I wouldn't call them a Safo. I wouldn't call them my brother. I'm talking about the good black man. Let's define a good black man. He provides and protects. It's that simple, but it's more. His intentions are good and honest. That means he came into this relationship with this woman intent on doing the right thing. Intent on doing the right thing. Okay? He put his family before himself. He leads. He teaches. I'm talking about the good black men are catching hell. No good black men are doing pretty well with their women, but the good black men, you wouldn't believe some of the stories I'm about to tell you. I hate to call them stories because they're true. How I know they're true? Because I've seen it in my own life and I've seen it happen to them. I can't believe it. Why would it happen to them? But I'll tell you soon. All right. Nah. The good black men are being disrespected, underappreciated, and hard to believe. And I have older men that I speak to, that I run stuff by before I do stuff, because I know I'm a hothead. I got it from my daddy. So a lot of the stuff that's coming to you now, it's not just me, it's older generations. The good black man, the better you do, and I learned this from experience and from observance, it's two ways your woman could go. She could be right there, driving you further, promoting you and pushing you. We're going to talk about this in my bullet points as we go through. But what I done seen, I asked one of my elders about this. I said, bro, he married, been married about 12, 13 years to a black woman. I said, bro, could a black wife be jealous of her own black husband? He said, absolutely. Most of them are. I said, you bullshit me. I thought I was tripping. He said, yeah. My wife is jealous of me. I said, how you know? He said, she makes slick comments about my level of education. He's very well educated, bachelor's degree, master's degree, Juris Doctorate, very successful in his own private practice, very successful in pretty much everything he do. One of the only black men I know that play golf on a regular basis. I don't play no goddamn golf. Okay? He said, she'll say stuff like, yeah, you know, I got a degree too, or I got this too, or I got like you, Jack. What are we doing? Competing? But it's true. I'm gonna walk you through a couple more things. But let me tell you something. If you consider yourself a revolutionary, if you consider yourself an Asafo, you got to be an organizer, because the number one thing we got to do before we even in the game is to get organized. Let me tell you something, and I guess I'll announce my book right now. This is my new book that I'm in love with by Mr. Nuri Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. I done read the preface and the first chapter. I just got it like a day or two ago. And let me tell you, this book is on point. And you know, Nuri says, well, not Nuri. Nuri says, because you know in the Nation they quote the quoter who said the quote, Elijah Muhammad. He go through Farrakhan, back to Elijah, back to Fard Muhammad. But the black man is the God of the universe. But you can't be God of the universe till you're the God of a planet. And he walked you all back down from the planet to at least a continent, to at least a nation, to at least a state, to at least a city, to at least a neighborhood. But before you can be God of anything, you got to be God of yourself and God of your household. So if you organizing, you can't go just say, I'm going to build a whole national, shut the hell up. Have you got yourself organized? And have you got your house organized? Because if you don't have that, you ain't organizing shit else. Okay? All right? I love this book. It's called A Well-Made Man. He said a well-made man starts with a well-made mind. What kind of mind? He said the mind of God. As exemplified by Christ. Now, this is a Muslim talking here. All right? I think, hey, I know all of y'all should get that book. So before you go off talking about you going to organize and start a movement, have you got yourself organized? Have you got your family, your house organized? And the number one obstacle, believe it or not, to a black man getting himself and his house organized and then stepping in to organize his community is his own goddamn woman, a lot of times. And believe me, I'm not just saying this on opinion. I'm coming to you with example after example and fact after fact. And brothers, you better listen to me, because I'm going to say some things that make you or your wife mad. And I don't give a damn. Because this gun don't hold that many rounds. Right? But this one does. Okay, this one does. So, when I tell you that the number one obstacle facing black men today is their own goddamn women, and you tell me I'm wrong, I'm going to say, what about Big Stacey? Big Stacey Abrams. Big Stacey. She lost again. Thank you, Jesus, she lost. Her whole campaign was built on two things. Let's abort our babies, let's kill them, and let's have open border anarchy. And if I don't win, blame it on the black man. Good God Almighty. I don't want to see black babies getting killed. Did you just see those three that were here? Did you see them? And the first thing they tried to say was, well, black men didn't come out to vote. That's why Stacey Abrams lost. No, the hell it's not. Maybe she lost because she's 400 pounds. She didn't give us any tangible promises or guarantees or anything to vote for. And they demonize the black man every goddamn day of the week unless he acting like Andrew Gillum. Maybe that's why she lost. You ever thought about it? Maybe some people didn't want to vote for an obese person. Maybe some people were wondering, why doesn't she have a man? Maybe some people were wondering. I was. Okay? But she's just symbolic of this whole movement of liberal, so-called, let's say, they say educated, I say miseducated, independent, left-wing black women that the white man uses against us. And I don't even like to use terms like white man because it sounds old-fashioned when Malcolm used to say the white man. Then Malcolm started saying the man. But I'm just saying it like it is. Liberal elite Europeans are intimidated by black masculinity. African-centered, straight black pride. Him right there. And instead of come fight us head on, they'll use our own woman against us. They will have our women indoctrinated, miseducated, don't need no man, independent, damn near lesbian, and you'll be going home every day thinking you just got done fighting white supremacy and you finna fight it again in your own goddamn house. I'm giving you the facts, okay? Let's move on. All right, men. I want y'all to write this down, underline it, and get a highlighter. Because I'm going to give you some keys so you can make a diagnosis on your own life and do what you got to do. I'm going to say some things you never thought I would say. I have been the biggest, most vociferous, I hope I said that right, unbothered, unadulterated proponent, promoter, advocate of the black man marrying the black woman and building the black family in America. I have been on the front line for that for a decade or more. And not only did I say it and talk it, I did it. I practiced what I preached. And I learned some lessons that you can only learn through experience and age. You can learn a lot from books, and you can learn a lot from observance and scientific method and counsel. But some stuff you only learn, from experience. Here's lesson number 1. I hate to tell you this, black man, because a lot of y'all are suffering so bad. You're getting your ass whooped every goddamn day. You feel like you can never do enough. They'll find something else to get on your body. You're right. You can't never do enough with some of these black women. Your wife should be your number 1 supporter. She should be your biggest fan. She should be your biggest helper. I don't know what a right-hand man is, because your wife supposed to be your right hand. Well, what you mean by that? Let's look at the notes. I wrote them down for a reason. Your wife ought to promote you. What you mean promote you? Well, if you're a good black man like you say you are, that means you providing. That means you out here making a good, honest dollar. Either you working or you got your own business. You're independent. She ought to be pushing that. She ought to be right there. If you're making $2, she ought to be trying to find a way to help you make 3. Well, if you're a good black man, that don't just include providing. That means you're involved in the community. Well, if you're out there in the community, I don't know what you might be doing. Whatever you're doing to improve the community, she ought to be right there helping you do twice as much. Did you know? I hate Barack Obama. I can't stand Michelle. But when Barack was running for president, the first time, when he had the first winning nomination, when he was an unknown candidate, and they were painting him to be what he had to be, it's one thing I did like about, and I worked for the campaign, and it's one thing that I observed that was phenomenal. And I should have learned my lesson then, but I still didn't. Barack had to come to Iowa because that's the first caucus state. He was competing against much more well-funded, well-known, entrenched candidates like John Edwards, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton. But Barack Obama had the cool factor. He was a tall, smooth, half-black man, and he had an all-the-way black wife. Now check this out. Iowa City is where the University of Iowa is, and we can swing the whole caucus process one way or another. So Barack was there all the time. But whenever Barack was in Iowa City, Michelle wasn't there. Why? She was in Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, or somewhere else, stumping for Barack. Do you hear me? Barack, that means while Barack was over here delivering a speech and getting everybody fired up, Obama 08, she was over there getting them other people fired up. Twice the work. Hey, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The wife, they used to say, within the campaign, they used to say, if you really want to know what's going on with the campaign, if you really want to know what Barack Obama thinks, ask Michelle. Because she was right there with Barack, pushing just as hard as Barack. She wasn't going to let him lose. She wasn't going to let him lose. Your wife ought to be your biggest number 1 supporter. Your wife's supposed to brag about you. Nah. Now, all the things I'm saying supposed to do, if you noticing that your wife don't do them, then hey, we starting off this lesson on the right path. All right? She supposed to take pride in you winning. Well, what do you mean, Vern? Break it down. Hey, let's apply it to myself, because I'm going to talk about incidents that other men that I know close to me, I won't disclose who they are, but I'll speak in general terms about incidents that they've encountered. But I'm going to speak about myself as well. I'll do it. I done accomplished some magnificent shit in life for a black boy born poor in the ghetto, food stamps and shit. I'm talking about the paper food stamps. Being evicted. Okay, I love my dad. He passed away, but this wasn't a traditional good dad. He struggled with his addiction issues, and me and him had to fist fight a few times, and he didn't take it too easy on my mom. She had to deal with his nonsense as well. And I didn't come from any background where they could say, "Oh, he's guaranteed the well-bred and the well-fed." But I accomplished some magnificent things in life, and you would expect your wife to be the biggest celebrator of your accomplishments. So what the hell you accomplished, friend? Quit speaking in generalities. I'm gonna tell you the truth. The things that I'm most proud of is that I done walked into trials, criminal trials, with clients facing life, 30 years to life, and beat the hell out the state with no co-counsel. Do you hear me? 2 prosecutors over there, handpicked just for me, and walked the dog on them. Barely being able to speak English, because we don't speak like other so-called Americans speak. We have to try to train our tongues to speak to what they can understand. Yeah, I'm really proud of those things. Your wife should be throwing you a goddamn party when you get home from a war like that. Or BPM. Man, we did stuff in BPM that no other organization has done and ever will do. Name one you done, Brian. You can't name another organization, not even the Black Panthers, that took 50 to 100 black urban youth and trained them in knowledge of self and discipline first, and took them out and trained them in firearm safety, efficiency, marksmanship, and things of that nature. They saw those black boys shooting shotguns, AK-47s, AR-15s, 308 battle rifles, Desert Eagles, and the FBI came for me. I'm telling you, no lie. They went after my pastor. Accomplishments now. And we beat all of it, too. Them boys grown now with their own families. You would think you would be coming home to a hero's welcome. But not if you ain't got the right woman. You're going to be coming home to, why the hell you got to have all these boys around all the time? Okay? I'm talking to you now. Don't deny nothing I'm saying. And because it applies to your accomplishments as well. I know men that are better businessmen than me, that work harder than me, and talk better to their wife, talk softer. Nice men. Don't get a goddamn congratulations. Here go, hey, let me make you don't get a goddamn thing. Okay? Now, if your wife ain't your biggest fan, all right, this is going to get crazy here. And when I say she's your helper, I'm going to tell you what. Y'all might hear me saying Miss Joy, Mama Joy, my woman. You hear the girls calling her this, that, and the third. A lot of my colleagues were saying, Vern, you got to get an assistant. You got to get somebody to help you out with your practice. You got so many clients and your business is growing. You're not going to be able to handle it all yourself. And my cheap ass thinking, yeah, that's true. That my practice is growing and I got more and more clients. But I don't want to goddamn have to hire somebody that I can trust and they got to deal with my money and know the insides and outs of what's going on. Hey, Mama Joy, this is what your woman supposed to be doing. She done came in and got this shit so organized, do half the work for me. Things that I used to hate doing, I take a family law case, you got to do financial affidavit, and I'm going to talk some family law to y'all later because I'm going to help y'all with y'all exit strategy if y'all got one of these women that don't appreciate you. But let me tell you what your wife ought to be doing. You own your own business. You ought to be able to pass off at least 20 to 30% of the routine tasks to her so you can go focus on making more money. And she ought to be happy to do it because the money coming in the house. Do you hear me? Hey, call this client back. One thing clients like when you're a lawyer is for you to call them. It's so hard to call 100 clients back every time they want to talk. But what if you got somebody that can call them for you? That's what a wife's supposed to be. If you got a profitable business. It's various levels. Well, you know, your wife may not want to be all the way involved with the business, but guess what? You might be into selling different products or this, that, and the third. She got to make sure you look the way you're supposed to look to deliver this product the way it needs to be delivered. Do you hear me? You know? She gonna support you in every way and celebrate you. If not, now here's the big if now. and I want all y'all to hear this. If she's not your biggest supporter, listen to me now. If your wife is not your biggest supporter, she's probably your worst enemy. And you don't even know it. All right? What's that? If your wife, listen to me now, if your wife is not your biggest supporter, number one, she's probably your worst enemy. Well, how can your wife be your worst enemy? Okay. I pride myself on the fact that I'm probably one of the most hated people in Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know no other way to live because nowadays men don't know how to be men, and when you act like a man, these males tend to hate it. So I don't mind being hated. I don't mind having enemies. But your wife is the one that sleeps next to you. Your wife is the one that sees what comes through your phone. Well, at least in my marriage, we had the same phone code. She could see what comes through my phone. Your wife know everything about you. Your wife know how to push your buttons. If she ain't your goddamn supporter, if she ain't your supporter, hold on. If your wife ain't your supporter, she can do you more damage than probably anybody else on the earth. She know your habits. She sleep next to you. She know what you like to eat. She know where you like to go. She know what you like to do. If she ain't your biggest supporter, she got the intel and the inside info to ruin your ass. Do you hear me? If you better be careful now. Because if your wife ain't your number one supporter, I'm talking about your number one fan, she's probably the worst enemy you could ever dream of. Because she got the intel. She the closest to you. It doesn't matter to me if some dude that's there on the other side of town doesn't like what I said about white allies. Like that big feud I had with Killer Mike. It doesn't matter what Killer Mike say. He fat as hell, obese, he can't fight, he stay in another state. If he did ever come to my city, he would never come near me. I know, okay, you my enemy. You cause me no problems. But the person sleeping next to you, they can cause you some problems. Okay? So if your wife ain't your biggest fan, if your wife ain't your biggest supporter, I might as well stop saying that's your wife, because that's probably your worst enemy. Now, I got a list of men on here who have called me, and I'm not going to say any of their names. I'm just going to use them as general examples. But point number 2, here's what I know. Eventually, black men, you're going to get fed up. Now, I went into marriage based on how I was raised as a Pentecostal Christian with every intention of being married for the rest of my life. And I only supported men with the same mindset. And any one of my homeboys will tell you, Vern wasn't about sleeping around. Vern was about finding a black wife, starting a family, and doing it the right way. Any one of my friends will tell you that. I never thought I'd be saying the things that I'm saying tonight. But hey, we all got to learn. So look, I didn't use the word divorce in my marriage. My first marriage. Hell, I don't use it now. I didn't use the word because I don't believe in it. This is what I was raised on. What God has put together, let no man tear apart. Right? In the Bible, it only gives you 2 grounds for divorce. But really, there's a 2 or just 1? I know it's adultery. No, it's only 1. Adultery. That's it. Other than that, this is an eternal bond. Right? So I didn't care how rough it got, because I'm a pain freak. I can take pain. I can take being uncomfortable. I can take being sad. I can take it. You know, for the greater good, which is my family and which is the community. But I'm going to tell you now, what God put together, let no man tear apart. But you better make sure God put that together. Because if she's not your biggest supporter, she's probably your first enemy. And God don't want you with your worst enemy. Now, let's talk about it. One thing I can tell you is that there's nobody that could have came to me and told me you need to get a divorce. I didn't believe in it. Even when my wife would raise the possibility, it just slid off the side of my head because that's just not in my vocabulary. But You're going to get fed up. And I talk to a lot of men on a daily basis who complain about what their wife is doing and not doing. And I'm talking about it's catastrophic. I gave you one example earlier of a black woman who told her husband, who worked 2 jobs, and is very involved with the children, and very dedicated, and very scholarly, particularly in knowledge of self and studying our people. She told him, and I couldn't believe it, some of the things that I done heard about these black wives, even though I've experienced them, I still can't believe it. She told him, you haven't put me in the kind of house I want. You haven't bought me the things I want. You don't make enough money. I don't want you in this house no more. She kicked him out. How in the hell can a motherfucker kick you out of where you pay the bills at? But guess what? Not only did he have to go, he still got to pay the bills. For someplace he can't go whenever he wants to. He got to make like an appointment to go over his own house. I find this preposterous. These black women are out of control. Not all of them. But let me speak the way I'm speaking now, because I'll let anybody come on and try to contradict what I'm saying, and I'll talk to them. But I'm just telling you, it's some of these sisters that have good men. I understand if you got a deadbeat, he don't work, he don't pay no bills. Hell, somebody busts in the house, you'll have to go to the front door. He don't do nothing for the kids. He smoke weed and play PlayStation all day long. Okay, kick his ass out. I want you to kick him out. But I'm talking about the women that got the good black men. And it's not easy to be a good black man. Alright? These are the type of things that I'm hearing. And I done got to the point that I'm like Zeke. RBG Zeke, my little brother, he's a Cancer. He's not as compassionate as me, and he really doesn't care as much as I do. He only going to give you 1 or 2 times to talk to him about something, and if you don't go do something about it, he don't really give a damn about it no more, because you won't fix it. But I'm going to tell you the truth, black man. You will get fed up. Okay? And when you get fed up, that's when you're going to act. But for right now, you're going to stay there and keep getting your ass beat. And I know it from the stories that I'm hearing, the advice that I give, and what they go do. Hell, it took me 8 years to get fed up. You want me to tell you a secret? Watch this. Black man, you can be getting mistreated, abused, taken for granted, taken advantage of. I'm talking about mentally abused and not even know it. You don't even know it's happening to you. Because women are more forward thinking. I don't want to say conniving, but women think a few steps ahead than men. You might be out here focusing on getting some money, the future of your children, whatever it is you think you're doing in the community, and she already done checked out and don't give a fuck about you. Oh man. And you don't even know it. You done accepted this as normal. Well, give me some examples, Vern. Well, you have to cook for yourself. You have to clean for yourself. Iron for yourself. Wash your own clothes. Hell, you got other people that doing stuff for you that your wife's supposed to be doing. And she don't give a damn. You don't know she doing this shit on purpose, because you ain't focused on that. You got so many big dreams, aspirations, and goals that you're trying to accomplish that you don't, hey man, I'm going to keep my family. I'm going to keep my house in order. I'll deal with it. Hey man, I'm telling you right now, you getting your ass beat. You taking some blows that you shouldn't have to take, and you don't even know it. Alright? But you're going to get fed up. And I'm going to give you some things to watch out for. I'm going to help you get fed up quicker. Y'all ready? All right. Let me count them out before I'm going to tell you how many it is so you can mark them out. I'm going to give you some warning signs so you can get fed up quicker. So you can't sit here and lie to yourself. Because my football coach said if you lie to yourself, you'll lie to God. Now, I don't want nobody lying to themselves like I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to give you 10 points that she is or ain't going to do. And if she meet more than 4 or 5 of these, she's guilty as charged. Hey, you got a lot of black women out here that get married based on this idea of romance, and they want flowers, they want texts out of nowhere, they want to be taking on dates continually, they want gifts, they want your attention, they want you to make them feel special. Hey, what woman wouldn't? But this how you know it's devilish. She doesn't do nothing to make you feel special. She doesn't go out of her way to make you feel special. She don't send you a goddamn text. She ain't never bought you a goddamn lunch. She ain't never even gave you a shout out on Instagram. But she wants you to do it for her continually and don't recognize that, motherfucker, this is a two-way street. And I'm sorry for you. No, I'm not, because we grown. The kids are over there. They can't hear me. I can say what I want to say. Let me see if I can say it as precisely as I want to say it. I want you men to think, and just always try to make sure before you make a decision you have at least 3 to 5 examples to go on. If you know you take time out of your day and out of your week to try to make your wife feel special, I'm talking about you take the action. But you can't count more than 1, 2, even any times that she done reciprocated or initiated the same type of treatment. That motherfucker selfish, self-centered, and that's number one. You're going to get fed up whether you like it or not. Now, the feminists have come against what they call traditional family roles, gender roles, wifely duties. Hey, I still require those, and I find them to be quite awesome. Hey, man, I like a woman that can cook, clean, and I wake up in my goddamn suit already ready to go, because I'm getting ready to go to war. At least have the war suit ready. Do you hear me? But black women used to take pride in doing these type of things for their man. Matter of fact, they used to brag about him and be excited about him. I cook his food, I iron his clothes, I take care of him. That's my man. I'm going to make sure he's ready to go. He's going to be looking good, smelling good, feeling good. Okay, so these new women, the one you finna get tired of, she is not excited, concerned, or obligated about these traditional, this is what they call them, traditional, what they call it, this is a word, archaic, is that the word? Outdated wifely roles. Well, let me tell you something, brother. Somewhere you're going to have to put your foot down, because it's going to be hard to cook, iron, take a bath, and get out here. And I want y'all to be independent businessmen, but that's hard as hell. You're going to need some backup. You're going to get tired of not having those wifely roles done. You'll get tired of it. Watch. How the hell you think I learned how to cook? I had no other goddamn choice. All right? Somebody say, what was the straw that broke the camel back in my situation? Say that question for the end. I'll tell you. All right, let me get through these bullet points, because some people might want to go to sleep soon. All right? She has other organizations that's more important than her family. I'm going to go ahead and say this, and this can partially answer your question. I guess it's a two-pronged answer. She has other organizations more important than you and more important than the family. I knew I was getting a divorce the night I did a lecture on how demonic, counterproductive, bougie, elitist, snobbish, irrelevant, harmful, did I say harmful? The black, so-called black Greek sororities and fraternities are. Black Greek. You know it's bullshit. Just right there you already know it's bullshit, because we blacks trying to be Greeks. And I can talk about it because I'm a member of one of these organizations. So I can tell you they're terrible. I can tell you they ain't good for shit. Okay? All right? One night I did a lecture on how terrible they were. Also included in that was the HBCUs. And before I did this lecture, I did a lot of research and I did a lot of study. I even spoke directly to Baba and Lamu Baruti for an hour just to get some additional insight, because I'm an alpha. But I went to a predominantly white college. I wanted to get some insight from an elder warrior scholar who was in the epicenter of the gender fluidity battles at Morehouse, a black college in Atlanta. And I went in, and it's still on YouTube. When I went in on these so-called Divine Nine, boy, look at here. You know, I don't lose many fights, but I got attacked after that lecture so bad, I left the house. I had to. Couldn't stay there that night after talking about those organizations. And I tried not to even engage in a discussion, because when I discuss a topic or have an argument or have a so-called debate, I'm going to come with facts and logic. I don't really, but once it gets personal, you know, I don't want to be in it, because it's not that personal to me. I'm not that entrenched in Alpha Phi Alpha that it could cause an issue in my family, but some of these women are. Now I'm going to give you one example, and I'm going to close this off. One of my friends from Orlando, who's a pastor, called me once I got a divorce. He said, "Hey man, I saw on Facebook that you got a divorce. That was just a joke, right? I know you'll never get a divorce." I said, "No, that's for real, for real." He said, "T, you got to be playing." He said, "What the hell happened?" I don't know if I can say what I'm about to say, because I don't want to deal with the fallout. But I told him, I said, "Hey man, I ain't going to go into detail right now. I was at work, and you know, my clients, I have to cater to them." But I told him, I said, if you were married to a woman that puts their sorority before their family, you'd be divorced too. He said, "What sorority?" I told him the name of the sorority. He said, "Oh, them the devils." He didn't argue me down no more after I told him. Now, I hadn't made that decision that they were the devils, but I'm just telling you what. He said, "I've got multiple members in my congregation dealing with the same thing with their wives." Now I see. Conversation ended soon after that. Okay? It shouldn't be no other organization or commitment except to God that's more important to a woman than her family. Alright? You're going to get fed up. I'm just trying to help you get there quicker, and then I'm going to help you get an exit strategy. Here goes another one of my homeboys called me about. And I had to, you know, I've seen this. I don't know if y'all know this, but to men, sex is important. But if you have an unappreciative woman, there's going to be nothing special when it comes to the bedroom. What do I mean by that? You might get sex, but it'll be some old mundane, you know, you'll get tired of it. Yeah, it won't be nothing to rush home for. All right? Okay, you'll get tired of it. You'll get tired of it. I'm just trying to help you get tired quicker. All right? She's not in line with you ideologically. And this is from observation, and experience. All right. The things that you read, study, and practice, your belief system. And we all have one, whether it's a little bit disjointed or not. Me, I was born and raised a Pentecostal Christian. I still am one. I'm also a revolutionary. It's tough to be. I have my own library. Don't go to church very much anymore. Still pay tithes. Really a big gun advocate. Hate abortion. So as you might say, I'm kind of a conservative. But I don't like to see people pouring homeless on the streets, and I wish we could do something to fix that. So that's still kind of progressive if you think about it. But anyway, whatever your ideology or your belief system that you have, and whatever you study and what you read, your wife ought to be on track with that. If she's not, you'll get tired of it. I noticed one day, now being black and conscious, I don't like to use that word. I rather use African-centered, or what I say now is straight, hyper-masculine African. It's only very few sources to get information and news from. And some of the people that I used to listen to and still listen to would be Irritated Genie, Dr. Umar Johnson, the best news person to keep you up to date with what's going on with white supremacy. around the country in many aspects is Tariq Nasheed. I know a lot of us don't like him, but if you watch his one broadcast, you're going to hit 30 examples of white supremacy in each episode. You'll know what's going on. You might not agree with how he dress or this or that, but you're going to know what's going on with white supremacy. Seti. I listen to a wide array of people. I even once used to listen to Polite, but what a scumbag he is. But anyway, my ex-wife hated everybody that I listened to. She wouldn't read a goddamn book I had in my library. And believe me, I got a lot. I'm putting it back together right now. If they're not in line with your ideological beliefs, you're gonna get tired of it because you're gonna clash over and over. You're gonna clash when you didn't even know it. Want me to tell you one quick way you're gonna get tired of it? Messing with these new age black feminist, liberal, miseducated women. Listen to me now. I might as well show you. I told you I had a new book and what I call my old book. I'm on about page 450 of this book. Still ain't finished it because it's 600 pages. But what I have read, you can see I ain't just breezing through it. I'm digesting it and working hard on it. You know what I'm saying? This book here by Baba Baruda. Homosexuality and the Feminization of African Males. That's what Irritated Genie come from too. He also wrote one called War on the Horizon. When I would speak on gender fluidity, homosexuality, and how it's devastating to the black community, I would always get pushback about how I'm being too tough on them, how I should consider that. Motherfucker, fuck that. They don't consider my feelings when they talk about toxic masculinity and how the black man should be able to wear a dress without being shamed, and how the black man should be able to carry a purse. I don't have to consider any of their feelings when I tell you the black man should be with the black woman and anything else is unacceptable. But when your woman ain't in line with your ideology, you're going to be in some goddamn fights about some shit that don't matter. Why am I arguing with you about homosexuals when I'm not one and you're not one? Why the hell are we so worried about them? Side note, don't let your boys join the choir at church. Let's go on down to the next point. Doesn't celebrate your accomplishments or promote you. Okay, I know there's some guys on here who done some great things. Your number one cheerleader for what you done, your number one cheerleader for what you done and what you accomplished should be your wife. It should be to the extent that they think she did it. You know what I'm saying? If not, like I said, if she ain't your greatest supporter and greatest cheerleader, she probably your greatest enemy. All right? Or this one that really used to, what they say, let me say a pet peeve. This one used to really get under my skin. If your woman don't trust your judgment enough to follow you based on what you say, that means she don't trust your mind. That book says a well-made man starts with a well-made mind. That means she thinks she know more than you. That means she doesn't respect your knowledge and your experience when it comes to life, this world, and getting things done. If she don't trust your judgment and you have to argue with her about which way things should go, which move should be made, you have to argue about every goddamn thing, you're going to get tired of it. You're going to get tired of it. You're going to get fed up with it. Do you hear me? Maybe you might. Hey, listen. I consider myself intelligent. I know I'm going to do what's best for me and my children. I know that. I know I'm willing to kill and die for my family. I ain't going to put them in harm's way. I'll put myself in harm's way first. If your wife don't understand that and have to question every goddamn decision you make, you're going to get tired of it. I'm just trying to help you get tired faster. Want an example? We had a hurricane a few years ago, an actual hurricane. And our power was knocked out. I was like, damn, the power actually went out this time. But you know, I had such a strong network of people that I had other people around the city who probably never did go out. And they was like, come over here, man. We chilling. We got lights. We got internet. We got AC. Everything straight over here. I'm sitting in the house sweating. I'm like, hey, we going to go over here and wait this storm out rather than sit here. All the food go bad in the refrigerator. We can take this chicken over there and fry it. We can go over there and just chill till this thing blow over. When the power come back on, you know, we'll go on back home. No, I'm not going. There could be down power lines. I said, cool. If we see a down power line, we'll turn around. Well, there could be flooding. I said, cool. That's the reason I got a truck, so that we can make it through if it's some adverse conditions. Well, then I'm just, okay. Why in the hell am I arguing with you in the middle of the goddamn hurricane? All right? Why am I arguing with you in the middle of the hurricane? If they blow this goddamn roof off, I bet you shut up and come follow what I'm saying. Hey, man, if you have to argue about every decision you make, you know you're making logical, sound decisions. You're going to get tired of it. I'm just trying to help you get tired a little bit quicker. And I'm going to help you with your exit strategy, because you're going to leave. All right? Man, this one of the saddest ones I've seen. Because it's hard. Listen, man, it's hard for a black man. It's hard for, that's what I'm saying, Black Purpose. Why am I arguing with you in the middle of the goddamn hurricane? We got to both be dead real soon, okay? All right. It's hard for a black man to advance in a white corporation, a masculine, heterosexual black man, but it's even harder for a black man to go out and start his own business and make that profitable, sustainable, consistent, and long term. I seen black men that done it. I know a black man older than me in his 60s. He worked on a railroad for 30 goddamn years, backbreaking work, enough to retire. Owns his house, owns 10 vehicles. There's no mortgage, no rent, none of that to be paid. Everything's paid off. All the vehicles paid off. He keeps them in pristine condition. Takes much better care of them than I do my vehicle. Goes out of his way. I'm plugging my phone up now because it's getting low. Goes out of his way to make his wife happy. She don't have to pay a bill. Don't have to work. And she told him that there's no good shopping stores in the city they live in, and that he doesn't give her enough additional spending money, so she's going to leave the paid off house and go get her own goddamn apartment, or she's going to walk around there and not say a goddamn word and act like she's not happy every day of the week. Well, she didn't say she was going to do the second part. She just started doing it. And he called me on the phone. You know, very sad, very heartbroken, because, I mean, a lot of these men, the men that call me are more compassionate than me. I don't know how they get treated bad when they're nice. I know I'm not nice. And Joy come here and tell you right now, yeah, he mean. But these men are nice, like baby, flowers and type things. And they get shitted on. So if your woman don't appreciate the economic contribution that you bring to the table, especially you doing an independent, a black independent business owner that can pay all the bills, man, it's hard to run a goddamn business. Most black people who say they got a business still work a 9 to 5. All right? They still work a 9 to 5 because it's hard to make a business profitable to the extent that you can handle all your expenses, business expenses, personal. You make enough. That's hard. Most businesses, black businesses, go out of business in the first 3 years. She can't appreciate that, and she ain't got to pay e-bill. Hey, man, you'll get tired of it. And it's the last one here. No, second to last before we move on. She hates or isolates herself from your friends, your organizations, or your activities. Done seen this firsthand. If your wife hate all your friends, she don't want none of your people around, she don't want to be involved in what you got going on, she don't like you doing this. Hey, it might not be that she don't like your friends. It might not be that she don't like your organization. It might not be that she don't like your activity. She might don't like you. That's hard to swallow, ain't it? But it's true. You'll get tired of it. I'm just trying to help you get tired a lot quicker. All right? And she more concerned with what her friends think or an image of marriage and herself than the actual movement. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't consider myself valuable as a black man if I'm not doing anything to contribute. I put two words together. Contribute to the liberation. I made it one word. Contribute. I might trademark that. If I'm not doing nothing to contribute to the liberation of our people. Why do I say that? Because it's a lot more important than me. And you see, when you study the Panthers, they were able to make something out of nothing, in particular. And you don't even have to look at, they got in wars with the pigs. They were very outspoken, very visible, very military discipline. But let's look at the free breakfast and lunch program. They were able to pull together the resources that they had. They didn't have government funding and these weren't rich dudes. Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, Geronimo Pratt. These weren't rich dudes. They were able to marshal the resources that they had for the benefit of the black community. And that's my mindset. Whatever I have belongs to the community. It's a famous quote by Stokely Carmichael that he gave during a speech to free Huey Newton when they had Huey locked up. And Stokely said, our people first, our people first. Then and only then, me and you as individuals, meaning the people come first. Everything I have, I put forward for the people. I done spent countless thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on my BPM boys. Trips, food, clothes, bullets. I've just put it out there because it's bigger than me. But if your woman don't think like that, if I comes before we, and you a revolutionary, and she's a self-centered, another word, you're going to end up getting tired of it. I'm just trying to help you get tired quicker. Okay? Now, how did our women become this way? That's the next question. All right? How did they get this way? I'm going to list these off pretty quick. So when I get done, if y'all have questions, I want to get done soon so anybody can ask me whatever they want. Number one, how did our women become this way? Because they weren't always this way. And my list is in no particular order, but I point to feminism. All right? We don't want any gender roles. Women can do anything a man can do. And we don't like men in general, but we'll accept the feminine men, but the masculine men are the scum of the earth. That's a good, quick definition of feminism. The louder you are, the stronger you are, the more aggressive you are, the worse you are. Women do not have any need or desire or want to follow you, and the more masculine you are, the worse you are. Feminism has ruined so many of our women, I couldn't believe it. You don't believe me? Look at Big Stacey. All right? Stacey Abrams. Thank you, Jesus, she lost. All right, Christianity. I bet you wouldn't know it. But even as a Christian, this New Testament Christianity, it wants them to be, watch this now, I'm going to make some women mad with this one. Well, let's start with the root of it. They are raised up on the white Jesus. They respect the white man more than they do their own husband. They'll do more for the pastor at their church than they'll do for their own husband. They're very passive, turn the other cheek. I'm talking about these women deeply interested in whitewashed New Testament Christianity. And they are very hell-bent on monogamy. Now, if you bring the topic up polygamy with 90% of black women, they'll rather be alone, single, or gay. And they got that all from Christianity. They love the white man. They're very pacifist. They raised up on that white imagery, and they say if that man want any other woman besides me, then he got to go. Newsflash, women. I'm going to tell you like Dr. Shahrazad Ali said. You crazy if you think a man only going to love one woman Well, you know, I think 5% of men can do it. The other 95% ain't gonna do it. All right. So you got Christianity, elitism / bourgeoism. I touched on this with them Greek organizations, but you have other organizations that aren't sororities or fraternities, like the Boule is kind of a sorority or a fraternity. But they put these ideas in these women's head about these pristine lifestyles they're supposed to live. They're supposed to be taking trips, have expensive purses and cars and things of that nature. They're so focused on themselves that they're not community first. They don't have the ideology that I talked about with the Panthers. It's all about them. So bourgeoism, elitism, that comes a lot from going to these colleges, in particular these black colleges. They bad and they bougie. Hell yeah, you got the bad part, right? And you damn sure bougie. So go on the hell on and be alone. Gender fluidity / liberalism. Boy, when I see a black liberal woman that's pro-abortion, pro-homosexuality, pro-immigration, and she considers herself highly educated, I know this is going to get bad real fast. They invited me to a dinner in Jacksonville. When they had a lady came, I think her name was Elaine Brown. They said she was a former Panther. All I heard was Panther. I said, I'm coming. I got to the meeting, it was 20 black women and 1 white woman. No men. Well, I brought one of my BPM men with me, and it was one guy there with shorts on. I don't know why the hell he had on shorts. But anyway, it was at night at a restaurant. I don't know what's my problem with men that would want to wear shorts to some a business meeting. But 20 black women sitting around the table. Maybe I did make a statement about my opposition to gender fluidity and homosexuality. I didn't know the goddamn Panther who they invited there was a gender fluidist. I didn't know that the white lady sitting at the end of the table was there because they invited her to speak on LGBTQ issues in the community. So when she started talking about her main issue that she wanted Elaine Brown to push while she was in Jacksonville was for girls to go to the boys' room and boys to go to the girls' room. I said, who the hell invited her? They all looked at me like I was the insane one. Okay? This liberalism, gender fluidity, I don't know how to quite categorize it yet, but the black woman is more concerned about how homosexuals feel than about how the straight black alpha male feels. I'm giving you the facts. I was never invited back, but I told him, don't ever invite me to something like this again, because everything I say is going to be wrong. Everything I say is going to be wrong. So so liberalism has done a number on our women. Welfare, 4C, food stamps, child support. This is the law. Liberal law. Liberal law. The liberal ideology, law, movement, they've done a number on our women. You don't need that, man. Just make sure you pay child support. Child support ain't going to give these children the guidance, discipline, and structure they need in a goddamn house. And women can't do it. Especially for black males. But that's what liberalism will tell them. Okay? Now, oh God. If black women don't hear nothing else, because I experienced this firsthand, I can speak on this firsthand. How they got like this. Here go my last point. Then we out of this whole section. How did the women get like this? A lot of our women got to think, act, behave, move the way they are, the way they do, because of other dumbass black women. Black women, even the generation prior, black women now do not hold other black women accountable. They do not. Okay? And anybody can come on here and try to argue with me when we get to the end. But let me tell you, black women don't want to be held accountable themselves. I'm talking about a lot of them now. Not all of them, but a lot. Too many. And black women do not want to hold other black women accountable. I've seen it with my own goddamn eyes. Now, somebody asked me what was the breaking point and the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm going to lead you a little bit closer to that. And now, if you come back at the end and ask it, I'll tell you, but I'm going to lead you a little bit closer now. In my efforts to save my marriage, I called 3 conferences, and I always called a mediator, and I always called a black woman. Because I know that I'm loud, I'm aggressive, I can overtalk, and I'll just be trying to get my point across. I wanted to make it even and fair with a black female moderator. So as I got into these conferences, one of the people that I called to moderate was my own mom, because I know she ain't scared of me. You know, you can be a lawyer all you want, you can be big all you want, you can have as many guns as you want. Your mama ain't gonna be scared of you. She gonna tell you when you're right or wrong. So I said, this will be perfect. I'll bring in my mom to hear these issues that we have. She's older. She's been married before. She's married again. She'll be able to tell me what I'm doing wrong. She won't be afraid to stand up to me, because that's my mama. You know, your mama will slap you in the face. She don't care. But she will also correct my wife, and then we can make progress with dealing with these issues. That was my thinking. Boy, was I wrong. Damn, I was wrong. I was as wrong as I've ever been. So I get into the conference, I'm listening, and I start getting my criticisms. He's loud. He likes to have people over all the time. He likes to drink. He likes to party. He likes to go out. He goes to the strip club. I'm like, okay, all these points are true. I do these things. You know, I think any occasion is an occasion for a party. Hey, we got a so-called hurricane. I saw my homeboy at the gym today. I said, let's have a hurricane party. I ain't gonna lie. You got me on all my points. And I was saying, good. They getting me. I got the points that I got to work on. But now my mom is going to straighten her. And it's going to be different coming from another black woman than just me saying it. Because you'll notice in a relationship, when y'all get to arguing, you might say one thing, but if an objective, neutral third party comes in and says it, then they can take it a lot better than just it coming from you. So I said, good. I got my criticisms. Now I'm finna see my mom straighten her. Not a goddamn straightening happened. And I know I raised 10 legitimate points because I had prepared for this discussion. I had a list of things that go on and not go on that I knew were legitimate, honest things that a wife should be doing, because other people had pointed them out as well. And I said, I'm thinking if I raise 10 valid points, she's going to correct her on at least 3 of them. Not a one. Till this day. I don't see black women like, girl, you need to shut up and be grateful. Girl, you need to go home and do this. Girl, you finna lose a good man. Girl, I don't see them doing it anymore, do you? I hear them say, girl, black girl marriage, you don't need him. Just get your alimony and your child support. He can't tell you how to dress. Women ain't doing that cooking and he wants you barefoot in the kitchen type shit. I'm telling you now, I haven't seen a black woman hold black women accountable since Dr. Shahrazad Ali. Now, on the flip side, I got men my age and older and even younger. Zeke will hold my ass accountable. One time Zeke thought I disrespected my mom and he came to my house to fight me. This is my little brother that I raised. He more like a son. He came to my house to fight me. He said, hey man, what happened at mama's house the other night? Because this is unacceptable. Black men will hold each other accountable. Like, man, you need to tighten up. You blowing money, you hanging. Black men will hold each other accountable. Like, bro, you tripping. I don't see black women doing it for other black women. If you do know some black women that do it, tag them so I can go follow them. Because I need the army of black women that will hold other black women accountable. Alright? Black men, hey, they can say whatever they want about us, but if you got a real friend, a real homeboy, he'll be like, bro, you need to take your ass home. You tripping. What you doing? I know this ain't you. I don't see black women doing that for other black women. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. And the other reason how they got like this is because they was raised in households without alpha male presence. The alpha male presence in and of itself is scientifically magnificent. And if they was raised without that, they really not gonna, may not know how to deal with it. How they gonna learn it, I don't know. Maybe innate, something that has to be innate. But a lot of black women weren't raised with a black alpha male in the house either. You know, he was halfway in and out the house, or he was in the house getting dominated by the woman, or he wasn't there at all. So now you throw that black woman in the house with an alpha male, and she's like, what the fuck is this? You expect me to do this, 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 and this, and this? No, no, no. So that's the end of that section. Let's move on. We almost out of here. Why do good men stay and suffer? Now, these coming from my own experience and from the men I know. First of all, ain't nobody really can come up to a man and say you need to divorce your wife. Even if you do got a good elder brother, it may not be received well for him to come up and say, hey man, you need to just go and get a divorce. This shit ain't gonna work. That's tough for a dude to say, and that's tough for a dude to receive. What I'm saying is, nah man, if you got more than 4 or 5 out of my 10-point list earlier about what this woman should and shouldn't be doing, you need to go and get a divorce. Or if you're not married, don't get married. Probably never thought I could say that. I say I have been in some rooms where sisters have held their friends accountable. Crazy, right? You tell me what room you was in so I can get one of those rooms. Okay? And what them sisters was, because I want to follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even MySpace if they ever start that back up again. All right. Ain't nobody really going to tell you that straight up and down, but you ain't going to listen. Even if they did. If you like me, hey, I was married for life. Ain't nothing you can tell me about my wife. This is God ordained. For better or for worse. But, yeah, somebody should tell you. And if they can catch you ahead of time, that'll be even better. Our faith, like I said, my marriage was an oath to God. It wasn't even an oath to the woman. So I considered staying married my duty, my obligation to God. And so that's another reason that men stay. I believe in the black family. I was a huge proponent of the black family. I believe you need a black man and a black woman in the house for the best structure of them kids and their development and their discipline and their growth. I really believe it, and I practice what I preach. So since some of us believe that, and we know it's true, we'll stay in some shit that's painful, I mean, destructive. We'll stay in some shit and suffer because of our belief. Not because the woman's so spectacular, but our belief system. We'll sacrifice our own happiness for the greater good of the kids and the family. We don't put ourselves first. A good black man do not put himself first. So they can hang in some shit that's not good for them, that's not pleasant for them, that doesn't prosper them. Because they don't put themselves first. That's the reason they stay. Fear. A lot of black men don't know that it could be better. Now that's the flip side of this whole discussion I'm giving you. I'm not saying all of these black women are this way, because believe me, you, it's some out here that are 10,000 times better, and you won't be having this discussion with yourself. But if you believe that what you got is as good as it gets, and you're scared to let it go, then that's all you're going to ever get. A lot of us feel like if we leave, she's going to take the house, she's going to take the car, she's going to take the kids, she's going to take the dog, and we're going to end up ass out. That's not true. I'm going to talk to that when we get to the exit strategy. But fear will keep you in a situation that, good God Almighty, you shouldn't even be in. But here's a big one here, black man. Ask that question at the end. Would I recommend single black men with no kids get married? I'm almost to the end. Give me 5 more minutes. The last reason, but might be the most important reason, that a lot of black men stay in these relationships because they're not ready to stand on their own. And I wasn't either. When I finally started making some money and bringing in clients and building my practice, I bought in a certain amount of money every month. She told me what was needed to make sure all the bills was paid. And that's what I did. I gave her the money. I didn't know where the money was going. Mortgage, daycare, lights, insurance. I didn't know where the money was going. I didn't know who to call to pay the goddamn mortgage. I was just proud to be making some money. But as a black man, one of my ODs told me that all the bills go through him. Everything goes through him. Well, if I would have known that, I would never let my life be organized in a way where I ain't know shit. All I knew was bring home this money. This how much you need to bring home. It was about $3,000 a month in bills. A major part of it was mortgage. A major part of it was daycare. But in particular, I didn't know where the money was going or how to do stuff. Hey, black man, you better know how to do stuff. How to pay your light bill, your phone bill, your internet, your goddamn mortgage or rent, whatever it is you have, car note, everything. You better know how to do it yourself. Because that was part of the reason that I stayed so long. You know, it was convenient to be able to just bring home the money, drop it off, everything paid. Okay? All right? Now, let's get to the exit strategy. And I'm giving you advice here, but this is not legal advice. Number one, the laws differ from state to state. So what I tell you about what's going on in Florida might not be the same in Georgia, Texas, Tennessee. So don't take this as legal advice. Just take this as some legal tips. Then you'll have to either get a lawyer where you are or either look it up yourself. But once you get your mind made up, you're going to have an exit strategy. And I'm going to give you some tips on what you need to do to get the hell out and not end up flat on your goddamn face like I was. I was down and out for basically, I say 8 months to a year. Not down and out broke, but down and out mentally, depressed, anxiety. And not where I wanted to be, you know, business was still, you know, because, you know, I had to keep paying for these children. You could be sick, sad, and depressed. You still got to get up and go to work. But let's have your exit strategy so you don't have to suffer as bad as I did, but you're going to suffer. Okay? Number one, get ready to suffer. It's never easy leaving this goddamn woman that you done pledged your life to. All right? And in my case, it was not even about leaving the woman. It was about leaving the household. Me, I'm a Capricorn. My whole life has been based on discipline and work ethic. And when you're all about discipline and work ethic, you're all about a routine. So on a day-to-day basis, you tend to do the same things at the same time in the same places. And so to be uprooted out of your house, where you have your daughters, you have your books, you have your weights, you have your guns, you have your dogs, you have your food, you have your routine, you have your day-to-day routine. To be uprooted from that is devastating. It's like being, what would I compare it to? It's just like being thrown into a foreign country where you don't speak their language. Right? When I left abruptly. Did I say that right? Abruptly. Yeah. Capricorns. We think different. I'm used to doing things just like this. I pray over here in the bathroom. I got guns stashed all around here. This is my environment. I may not even talk to this woman, but this is my environment. This is my routine. Once you out of that, you're gonna go through depression, and you might actually still love the woman. That's gonna make it worse. So just get ready for some anguish, mental anguish, emotional anguish. Don't think it's gonna be easy. I am not here telling you this is gonna be easy. I had the worst depression of my life, suicidal thoughts, drinking all the goddamn time as a result of my divorce. Now, I didn't have an exit strategy, and I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. So I'm trying to help you not have to go through that. All right? Okay. So get ready for some mental anguish. But we finna try to, what they say, we finna try to mitigate that as much as we can. What I want you to do is start putting some money aside. Don't nobody have to know about this money. You don't have to tell nobody. You don't even got to tell me. Just tell God and pay your tithes. Start putting some money aside. Because money make everything easy. You hear me? Now that's one thing I did. I kept a stash. Do you hear me? I ain't go broke. I ain't go broke. Do you hear me? Alright, put some money aside. Just start putting it aside. If your situation ain't got so, and I'm going to get to this. If you can see that you're getting tired and those points are adding up and you're getting fed up, but you can time this out the way you want, to start putting some money to the side. Do you hear me? Start getting you another place to stay lined up. I hate to say it, but I wish I would have did it that way. I just got fed up, pissed off, and bucked. No. Let's be men about this. Let's be objective and strategic. All right? You got to get your transition team on notice. What's your transition team? These are going to be the 2 to 3 to 4 people that are going to support you throughout this process and encourage you through it. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and even financially. Who was on my transition team? Number one, my sister. My little sister. She was like, man, come stay here. You don't got to worry about paying no bills. You're going to get through this. You know, get back on your feet. And let me tell you what she told me. She told me the next time you commit to a woman, this how you're going to do it. This is my younger sister telling me, and I'm supposed to be her big brother and a lawyer. She said you're going to have your own house, your own vehicle, your own every goddamn thing. So when she come into your life, she coming into your shit, and ain't no way you can ever be stuck like this again. You're going to be in charge, and she can either get down or get on. That's what my sister said to me. I said, I never thought about it that way. I was thinking of it as an equal partnership and all this progressive. You say, go on with that bullshit. You're going to have your own. This is what I had on my transition team. I had a hell of a team. So, when I was there, depressed, sad, mad, going through, she like, T, you got to get up and eat. T, did you have court today? T. She wouldn't let me lay there and so. Great transition team, man. My mom. Now, although she didn't do the accountability part, she was there for me when I finally went ahead and made the move. So she was a great member of the transition team. And Zeke. You know, it was kind of embarrassing to have to go through that in front of Zeke, but, and this is going to be another part I get to later, Zeke saw the shit coming. So just put them on notice, like, hey, I'm getting tired of this, so they can know, oh, he finally recognized that he going to need us when he make this jump, but you're going to need a support team. You ain't going to be able to do it by yourself. Get that team lined up. So you're putting some money inside. You're looking for another space. You got your transition team on notice. Get you a goddamn attorney. Okay? Even if you ain't ready to file just yet, start paying you an attorney. Because you can go put an attorney on retainers so that this money is adding up so that when you finally do need them, you can have them already paid. Because, number one, you have a right to your children, and that applies in every state. You know, don't let these women tell you that you're not going to see your kids again. Bullshit. You got just as right to your children as they do. But you got to have an attorney because, you know, women try to take advantage of you. And you may have to go get your rights enforced. But if those children were born during that marriage, and even if they weren't, you still have a right to your children. So go get you an attorney. And don't worry how bad the kid's going to take the divorce, because this is what I learned. The kids will probably be more happy seeing you happy than seeing you in a badass situation where you mad, pissed off, fussing, and arguing all the time. You see how happy my daughters are? I had no bond with Imani when I was still in that first marriage. No bond with Imani. Nothing kept her in the room all the time. No bond whatsoever. We got the strongest bond now. When my kids get here, they light up. You just saw them. You can't rehearse that shit. Yeah, they'll be a little bit more happy seeing you happy. I promise you. Do not worry. The kids are going to be so mad that daddy left. Daddy ain't left a goddamn place. You still going to see daddy. Daddy will still come kill anybody for you. And we're going to turn up and party like we always did. Alright? Don't let that kid's thing scare you. Just make sure you got an attorney. Preferably one that went through a divorce himself. Alright? Don't go soft when you negotiating this separation, man. That's one thing I did kind of do in some points. I tried to negotiate out of goodwill. And the only reason I've done that is to make sure my daughters had everything they need. But I could have pushed harder and been a lot more treacherous during my divorce negotiation. But I was still operating out of goodwill. And that's a dumb thing to do, because you got to realize, man, if this woman is your worst enemy, and I just said if they're not your biggest fan, they're your worst enemy, then go ahead and accept that and stop pretending like you missed something. The facts are the facts. And in Florida, we are a state that does what they call equitable distribution. Man, write that down. And when we get divorced, the woman don't walk away with everything. What divorce is going to do, what the judge is going to do is look at the marital assets. And that's going to be what you accumulated throughout the marriage. Whether it's houses, cars, boats, jewelry. In my case, the main thing I accumulated was a bunch of goddamn guns. We ever did get a house, we did get vehicles. Okay, so we had some shit. But that doesn't mean the woman gets it all. The judge gonna look at it and split it down the middle and try to make it as equitable as possible. So you walk away with some and she walk away with some. It doesn't mean she just get everything. So don't be scared of that either. In Florida, now I don't know if the other states are equitable distribution, but Florida is an equitable distribution state. So don't be worried about you're going to be left with nothing. No, get you an attorney. They're going to go through these assets piece by piece, and we're going to see who gets what. And it's supposed to be as close to equal as possible. All right. Now, this is the thing I learned. Don't be worried about what people are going to say. Me, I was embarrassed to get a divorce. How the hell are you going to spend the last decade pushing black marriage, black family, the black woman, the black children, and then you end up getting a divorce? Ain't that kind of backwards? And I'm thinking, man, people gonna look at me crazy. This gonna ruin my whole. Man, let me tell you something. People are more understanding than you think. Divorces happen every day, B. And this the thing that knocked me off my feet. And I'm finished. Anybody can ask any question they want. This the thing that knocked me off my feet. A lot of people said I would finally work it up because I didn't tell a lot of people while it was going on, and it was a process. It took months and months and months and months to get done. I didn't tell everybody. I was embarrassed, but when I finally worked up the guts to tell them, I was expecting to be criticized and laughed at, and they'd be like, "Hey, Vern, we saw this coming a long time ago, bro. Don't worry about it. Things finna get better." I'm like, oh. That was pressure off my back. Because I was worried. I ain't gonna lie. We all worry about what people say from time to time. And, we take that into account. Don't worry about that. Especially men. Half of them want to do what you did, too. Just ain't got the guts to do it. They gonna get fed up. I'm just here to help y'all get fed up quicker. So, get your exit strategy in place. Now, if you're having minor quarrels and arguments and little issues, that's in every relationship. But if that list that I gave you, and she check off more than 5 out of 10, or at least 5, you might want to start working on your exit strategy. Because we cannot be revolutionaries. We cannot nation build and be at war in our own home with our own women. It's bad enough we got to deal with the big Stacys of the world that already hate black masculine men. They're influencing more and more of these women to do it. These women are disastrous. You need a woman that's your biggest supporter, and you ought to be her biggest supporter. But you'll get fed up with it. I'm telling you, you'll get fed up with it. And if you need some help, I tagged, when I first made this post, I tagged 20 men. I know 20 men you can call right now that done been through this and can give you the advice that you need. If you don't want to talk to me. Because I'm just going to cuss at you and yell at you. And I ain't going to play. But if you want somebody more soft-spoken or more articulate, I got somebody you can talk to. And Chose just, I'm going to put this, it's going to be saved to my page, and it's going to be on YouTube as well. All right. So if anybody has a question, or if anybody wants to come on and say something, you can. But I'm going to answer the question. But that's going to be a tough one. But I said I'll be honest. All right, somebody asked me previously what was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So now Big Wheel asked another one, but I'll answer this one first, and I'll go to his. Like I said, when I did that live about those sororities, That fractured the camel's back. But there was a point where my dad passed away, and it was clear to me that my marriage was passing away. And I was stressed as hell trying to maintain running my business, to the point that I ended up in the hospital. And the things that transpired while I was there let me know, like the movie said, get out. Alright? So when I came back, I didn't have an exit strategy. I didn't sit down and be logical and deliberate like I should as a man. I said, I just got to get the hell out. It's clear. It's fundamentally clear. But this is the caveat to that. When I tell you to go slow, take your time, don't rush, that's if your situation permits that. Some of these situations with these women are so bad that if you don't get the hell out right now, you're going to end up putting your hands on them. And I ain't never put my hands on a goddamn woman and never will. Right? If your situation is so diabolical, disastrous, and volatile that you don't have time to play it out, then go ahead and get out now. You just got to go straight to your support transition team. Right? And so that's something I think about from time to time. Could I have done this more smoothly and strategic, or was I smart for getting the hell out? Because I would have ended up doing something that you can't turn back from. So you got to weigh that out in your mind. Can you play it cool? Is it calm enough that you can start making your moves, or is it so volatile that you got to go? That's the question you got to ask yourself. All right? Now, he said, if you and your wife were so fundamentally ideologically different, how in the world did you and her ever get married in the first place? Shouldn't you have seen the red flags from the beginning? I did see the red flags. There's going to be red flags before you get married. I was too naive and inexperienced I saw them, but I didn't comprehend them properly. There was no way for me to do it. As I told you, growing up, my relationship was to weights, football, number one, God. All I did was church, school, and football. Because I saw football as the way as I was going to change my whole family's life. I haven't been in many relationships and known what's acceptable and unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? So when this came along, and I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, well, it's not the old days. Women aren't going to act the way they used to. Maybe this is something that I'm just going to have to work with, or I'm going to have to mature, or I'm going to have to grow. I saw the goddamn red flags. I just didn't have the knowledge and experience to interpret them as what they were. They wasn't red flags. They was red damn dynamite. So I said, I can be a better man. I can overlook this. Is it something that I could try to do better? And then once we get married, then we won't have these problems no more. And so, yeah, it was red flags, buddy. You better learn the red flags. And if you don't learn them, if you don't know them, if you can't recognize them, I got 20 black men you can talk to help you go through, and they'll tell you that's a red flag. All right. Yep, he said you were 23 and 24 when you got married. I think I was 25. I got married. I was ready to go. That's it. Once I got married, I said, look, I got my wife, I got my family. Let's go get this money, and let's go build these youth. I thought that was set in stone at that age. I wasn't trying to run around and, I didn't know how to be no player no way. So, hey, let's get this done. Then I got my foundation. But that wasn't the case. So, yeah. I mean, I used to get mad when people say you need to wait before you get married. I'm like, how you going to tell me to wait? Ain't like you got a successful marriage. But hey. Oh, they had asked the other question. The other guy said, would you recommend for a black man with no children that's single to get married? None of these white people are. I don't see no point in it. Not spiritual, not economic, I don't see no point in going down there and signing a contract, because that's what it is. And the other thing I meant to tell y'all with your exit strategy, if you already see that you're getting fed up and she meeting most of these points, do not let that marriage get to 10 years, and definitely don't let it get to 15. Because I hear a lot of men say, well, I'm going to just stay till my kids get bigger and go off to college. You let that marriage get to 15 years in Florida, you can quite easily be paying alimony, permanent alimony, for the rest of your goddamn life. Do not let it get to 10, and do not definitely let it get to 15. Okay? That's not legal advice. That's just Attorney Austin telling you what to do. Okay? That's just a tip. Do not let it get to 10, and under no circumstances let it get to 15. If you already seeing, like this man said, all these red flags, and I gave you a list, a 10-point list. All right? If that's all we got, I'm about to go back in here. Yes, the list is going to be posted. You're going to have to go back and watch it, but I ain't going to post it. I ain't going to type it. Maybe Joy, I think Joy probably she'll type it. That's the good thing about having a good woman that appreciates you. They want your shit to take off. If I tell her, go type up this list so we can post it, it'll be up by tomorrow. If y'all want to see, test me out. I'm gonna tell her to do it when I get done. Y'all will have it by tomorrow. Because I'm not going to do it myself because I get tired of damn typing. He said, I've seen some men stay to save face. That's what I'm saying. You worry about what people going to think. You don't want to be embarrassed. You know, I want to advise they to get married. What advice do you have for black men in their 20s as far as keeping and maintaining a straight and pro-black family with kids in these times? It's not that hard. All you got to do is find a woman that got the same ideology as you, and you both be your kid's first teacher. Because once you teach your kids, and I hate to use this word because it has a negative connotation, but it really is a positive. Once your kids are indoctrinated, they can't unindoctrinate it. Even with them in the schools, putting gay stuff all in the schools, once you and your wife done taught them kids, they can't wipe it out. But you got to be there first. Get there first, and then you lay that foundation, and it's going to be in place. They ain't going to be able to wipe that out. You know what I'm saying? You might have to come back here and there and address it, reinforce it, make sure it's solid, but it ain't that hard. My kids will come here and tell you right now they got to marry a black man and have a family. Experience will teach you to hold yourself and your friends accountable. Wisdom, what it is and what it ain't. Okay. All right. Hey, man. Well, I really appreciate everyone that joined in. I'm going to be doing more and more, man. You know, because our black, straight, hyper-masculine African manhood is under attack. And our brothers are so far-flung that I literally recognize that you could be in a city or a neighborhood where there's no black men to look up to. So this stuff we're doing online, you know, you can use this online stuff for jokes and laughs and bullshit, but you could actually use it to do some good, and as men, we got to do that. Because I need as many strong, aggressive, straight, black, hyper-masculine, Asafo as we can get. Our women need us, our community needs us. We're the number one target for the enemy because they know if we ain't got that, we ain't got a fighting chance. So every Thursday, same time, it's only going to get better and better. But I don't want these men to keep letting these women whoop their ass. Because it's only the good black men that are going through it. Think about it. Oh, God, no. Okay. You know, my phone died, but the YouTube is still going. So I'm going to post this on YouTube. You can go back and watch the list. And we'll be back next week. Same place, same time. BPM Forever Endeavor. BPM for life. Baby.